Hi guys, today I'm just going to go through actually a couple of pairs of running shoes you should kind of consider if you're doing a lot of CrossFit type workouts or metcons in general. None of these will really make a massive difference to you if you've got shitty ankle mobility and you've got constant problems with your dorsiflexion or your calf mobility. So don't think that buying a pair of shoes is going to fix any of that. If you've got screwed up ankle range of motion, really poor calf mobility, I've done videos on that, on how to assess for that as well, so you might look back on those. Then that's the sort of stuff you need to sort out first. Shoes are not going to make a blind bit of difference, and that's a big thing that's unfortunately sold in running shops or just sports shops in general, that buying a pair of shoes is going to fix a lot of that. And sometimes they'll stick you in something that has like this huge diff, so it has a huge amount of heel cushion, which they'll kind of be saying, oh, it's lots of support and bullshit like that. You really don't want to be in something that has a huge amount of heel difference between the heel and the toe, unless you're doing a massive amount of running. You just need an awful lot of support. But even then, I really don't think it's necessary, as you should be in that forefoot position when you're landing and running. As you take out a skipping rope or you run across some grass or some sand, you'll naturally land in a forefoot position. If you're landing in your heel all the time, it's going to cause a lot of problems with your hips and ankles and knees, because there's a huge amount of force coming through, kind of like a straight leg as opposed to kind of like a bent leg all the time, and it'll naturally allow you to run in what we call a forefoot position, as long as you land in this position a lot of the time. Doesn't matter what school of thought you're from, whether it's pose running, chi running, in CrossFit endurance, Newton running, they'll all agree that we should be landing in, as we've done for thousands of years, in a forefoot position. And unfortunately, runners that kind of give you over support or too much cushion can force people to, and encourage people to land on the heel all the time, which we don't want. And any of those type of like shoes that do offer an awful lot of difference between the heel and the toe, I think should only be reserved for, let's say, if you're doing like trail runs or something like that, where you're, just might be unsure about using a really cut down sort of shoe, just because those sort of shoes don't offer any kind of like sort of lateral support at all normally. So just if you're going over rocks or going through trails, maybe something like that might be a little bit more beneficial to you. But in general, I've run in all sorts of types of shoes, and probably the worst in my opinion would be something like a Hattori or a Vibram, because I think there's just so little support there at all that it's very easy to kind of turn over on your ankle, or just feel that, like, something could go through your shoe. And plus as well, I would never encourage people to transition from something like that into that, because the difference between the heel and the toe is so huge as a kind of a step down that your calves will be torn up for days. So I think something like these, the Saucony, Hattori, or the Vibrams, should be really kind of for people who kind of jogging around, or walking around all day, or might be personal trainers who are in gyms that are just on their feet all the time. But I wouldn't be kind of doing a lot of serious running in these at all. I think your calves will be smoked, even if you're using perfect running technique. I think they're good relaxing shoes. Probably my top picks would be the Reebok CrossFit shoe, the New Balance Ionics or Minimus type shoe, and then your F-Lite 195s. And I just think those are probably the three best. These are really superb for all types of CrossFit type workouts or metcons. Very hard base, stiff base, perfect for rope climbs in the section. These will get absolutely ruined on rope climbs. So good overall round shoe, very firm even when you're landing Olympic lifts. If you're doing a lot of Olympic lifts and squatting, then you really should have separate shoes for that. Otherwise, if you're not, I kind of find these two are probably the best all-round sort of shoe to have. These you'll burn through quite quick because the base is quite soft. I think these are kind of a better overall shoe. But those are incredibly comfortable. A good in-between shoe would be something like the Asics, like a DS type trainer. So it's again quite cut down, but I think you might kind of burn through them quite quick. So they'd be kind of my top picks. Hopefully that's been of help to you, and any comments or questions, just post below, and hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for your time.